Hey everyone, this is episode 18 of Noodle Time. Welcome. Here with me is the person wishing a very happy birthday to Dylan Whoppers in the middle of a 14-game winless streak, Tony Rubio. Tony, say hello.
Hello everyone, glad to be back after a brief hiatus. The Dynamo just, they got me wilding, so I had to leave a little bit, but for the record, Dylan Whelpers, I don't wish you a happy birthday. I think it's your fault that this is going on. So I think it's about time we start celebrating you, my friend.
Tony's kind of salty because he has to watch the Dynamo and Arsenal on a weekly basis. So just keep it with a grain of salt,
I don't even know what winning is anymore.
But yeah, we're used to it. As we have experience for the past 3 months, So the final stretch of the season, it's gonna be extremely weird, and we don't know what to expect at this point.
Honestly, I was telling Andres before we started this. Yeah, I took a week off from the podcast just because I had nothing constructive to say after. I don't even know who our last loss was to before FC Dallas. Who was that?
RSL on the road.
Oh yeah, that RSL game. It's not even a blind rage. It's just an emptiness. Like, I don't even have the energy to be mad at this team anymore. So I said, hey, bro, I can't do this Twitter Spaces. I really don't have anything to say. I don't just want to rant all day. So we back this week. We calmed down a little bit. We relaxed, celebrating Dylan Whelpers, celebrating life. So we're back to talk to the lovely people of Noodle Time. What do we call Noodle Time supporters, by the way?
The Foxes, It's the Foxes. That's how it goes,
Yeah, I mean, It's got to be something to do with noodles.
I like Foxes, our logo is pretty much the mascot eating the noodles.
The nudes.
The nudes. Okay, we have to make a Twitter poll.
That's the new supporters group. The new supporters group.
The nudes, it's amazing.
Man, just going off topic here. Remind me at one point during this podcast, we got to talk about the supporters group beef that was going on this past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, that's one of the points we're definitely going to talk about when we get to the Dynamo. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Dynamo. Both their games from last week at RSL and obviously the Texas Derby. Not good, obviously, but we'll get into that. And also, we're going to talk first about the Dash and their Women's International Champions Cup in Portland this past week and their upcoming game against Racing Louisville. But before that, we get a few housekeeping notes. We just wanted to thank you all for participating in Twitter Spaces last week. Obviously, it was our first time, or my first time, doing a Twitter Spaces with the Foxtrot, and it was pretty overwhelming because it was in a pretty short notice, around like 4 hours ahead of time, roughly, and we still managed to get like around 30 people to join the call, and like a handful of you guys participated, and to everyone that participated and tuned in, and those that tried to tune into the call. We just wanted to thank you guys. Obviously, it was short notice, and Tony wasn't able to join that time, but we're definitely thinking about doing it again. And obviously, with more time for you guys to plan around the call and to get the conversation in place. It was great, honestly. Like, I was overwhelmed by the feedback that you guys provided, and I'm just looking forward to doing it again, and hopefully this time with Tony.
I mean, I wasn't able to make it, so I listened to it afterwards on a weekend when I was on a long drive, and it was great to hear the fan base just speak, man. Honestly, it's there's really not any medium other than writing on Twitter where we're hearing fans' voices, and it's not even just about it. I think most fans understand, man. Like, from what I was listening, from what I took from the whole podcast, people aren't just coming in here like with blind rage. Like I said, it's nuanced thoughts, and everybody's like, look, man, we don't want to just fire somebody to fire somebody. But what has to be done has to be done, and everybody kind of had their own topic, had their own kind of thoughts. but everything made sense. Like nobody really had a crazy thought that nobody believed in. So I think it's important for fans to be heard. So we'll definitely, like Andres said, plan more of that in the future. Almost like, maybe pushing the Dynamo front office to host some kind of town hall type of meeting, because the fan base really needs to be heard from all sides, not just from the supporters group, also from the supporters group, from the regular fans, from the season ticket holders. They really need to hear what fans have to say, because at the end of the day, we're the bread and butter of this team that have been there since the start, or whenever you guys started supporting. So just definitely depend on that happening more in the future, and hopefully maybe we'll start some pressure on a town hall for the actual front office, because people need to be heard.
Oh yeah, of course, and yeah, it's pretty important that the fans let their voices be heard, and I'm just glad that there are like Dynamo fans like us that are still concerned about the team. That it's been like pretty much like this long, and this kind of thing happens. Like we pretty much get together and start talking about it, which is the most important thing. And yeah, with that, we're thinking about doing more Twitter space in the future, and yeah, we'll definitely keep you updated as soon as we have one available. And yeah, with that said, we're also now we added Noodle Time to Amazon Music. So if you have like one of those Alexa devices or whatever, any devices that you have at home like tied to Amazon, you can now listen to it on Amazon Music at your own convenience. And with that, just keep yourself updated on our Ko-fi blog. You can catch all the episodes there and all the blog posts I may write. And if you want to support the content as well, you can do that as well over there. So yeah, Ko-fi.com/Dynamic Foxtrot. You know how it goes. And yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and get into the episode. Let's go ahead and talk about the Dash first, since it's one of the topics that we haven't touched base in a while. With obviously the Dash playing in the Women's International Champions Cup in Portland last week. It wasn't great for them, but it was more of a great experience based on the fact that they did manage to score multiple goals on the Portland Thorns and a small team called FC Barcelona. The European champions that did make the trip to Portland to play in the tournament. Essentially, they did lose to Olympic Lyonnais towards in the second game to reach the final, and they played the Dash in the third place game. Only because the Dash did get out of the tournament by losing to the Portland Thorns in penalties. They did reach the penalties of a 2-2 draw initially after the second half. And Shea Green with the brace, you know how it goes with her. Extremely clutch. And it was just unfortunate that game, mostly because it felt like the Dash did sit back after pretty much giving a pretty solid 2-0 lead going to the first half, and they pretty much gave it away on the second to reach the penalties and losing there. And from there, from their first game heading to the third place game, they did lose to FC Barcelona 3-2. They did manage to get force an own goal, and Shea Green coming in with another goal to get to pretty much keep the 2-1 lead, but then Barcelona came back and defeated the Dash 3-2 with Alexia Putellas brace, which was pretty good, honestly. Just watching the replays of those games, and especially for Barcelona, Alexia is one of those players I want to see with a Dash at some point, but obviously it may not be possible since those kinds of players are pretty demanding, and WSL is still one of the best women's. It could be arguably one of the best leagues for women's players to play in, but Europe is still Europe, so it still has a long way to go. But yeah, the Dash come out of the WICC with 2 losses. It's still somewhat of an invitational tournament still, so not much to worry about. But they did manage to get a ton of experience out of it. So kudos to them, and kudos for them too for a good performance, pretty much, and for not letting themselves down. and for fighting the good fight. And pretty much from what do you want to say?
Would have been nice. It would have been nice to beat the Thorns, man. That was everybody knew it was coming after we went up 2-0. It's just you could feel it.
True. So true,
man. And the goalkeeping on the free kick from Olivia Moultrie, it just hurt my soul. At the end of the day, it's an invitational, but I wanted to beat the Thorns so bad, man. They deserve all the praise and fandom they get, but obviously as a rival, you want to beat the hell out of those kinds of teams. So it was disappointing not to get the W at the Thorns. But I mean, it's an invitational. We're getting a lot of our Olympic players back. I mean, everybody's back now, and I think the Dash are going to come into a bit of a groove here at the end. And I think they're going to go into the playoffs in a strong form heading into the end of NWSL season.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. And before we switch to the Racing Louisville game, at least the Dash managed to play against FC Barcelona before Dynamo, so that's a silver lining at least. So yeah.
I mean, let's not forget that the Dynamo were supposed to play Manchester City years ago.
Yeah.
But that we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Chris Canetti on the show to talk about that one day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, one day.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, and the Dash this week they're playing Racing Louisville on Sunday at home. It's gonna be an interesting week because there's gonna be a week that all the internationals are gonna be back from the Olympics and international duty. But even still, it still looks unconvincing because the Dash are just like the Dynamo on a winless streak, but not a 14-game winless streak, but rather a 4-game winless streak. And they look pretty unconvincing still for me because I still watch the Dash games, and I still try to understand them because they come in with either with the starters or not, and they look like it's like for them. I feel like the issue comes to consistency and the fact that they manage to score these well thought out goals, but they concede these goals and they manage to not come back to the game. And it's so weird for me because like they have these talented players and they pretty much kind of settle with these kind of sad results, honestly, because like this team deserves kind of much better, but at the end of the day, you just have to work for it. And somehow they managed to stay in this 4-game winning streak since July, and there's only 10 games left in the schedule, so they have to manage to find consistency somehow.
No, for sure, and there's still so many games left. The Dash have 2 games in hand over a lot of the teams in NWSL that have played 16 games already. So I mean, right now we're in 8th out of 10th, but this table is so close together that, man, two games won in a row puts you right at the top of the table already. So it's just about getting into a groove, and the name of the game all freaking season, man, consistency. It's one game we're at the top of the table battling the Thorns and the Courage, and another game where possibly losing to freaking Kansas City. So,
yeah, like pretty much like the good news for the Dash is that the standings are pretty tight, so they can like jump around the standings like if they manage to win those games or tie them out at least. So there's that going for them. So at the end of the day, like we said, it's gonna come down to consistency, and from here we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they manage to essentially like pretty much visualize how they want to go through the last 10 games of the season, which is what's going to matter at this point with their starters coming back from international duty and the Olympics.
For sure. So got a lot to look forward to, and hopefully James Clarkson rights the ship the way it's supposed to go. Yeah,
and let's go on an even worse note. Let's talk about Dynamo because last week we thought like going into a 12-game winless streak back then, we're gonna like break it somehow last week, and it looked like that against RSL for a minute, and I guess or FC Dallas at least, and it didn't happen.
I mean, can we talk about how bad we've been at defending set pieces this year, man?
Yeah.
I swear to God, we're giving up a set piece goal every freaking game.
Yeah.
It's a joke. What's up with Tim and Hadebe there in the back? And I just haven't agreed with the fact that Jones has been on the bench so much. Like, I feel like things were moving a little bit more positive when Jones is on the pitch, starting, just sitting in front of the center backs, personally. But suddenly Darwin Saren is the most valuable player in the world and is starting every game after various letdowns.
For some reason, because at this point you have to see Derek starting over Saren, because like like last week, like it pretty much has proven that Saren cannot start at this point.
Yeah. let me start freaking Juan Castillo over Saren at this point, bro, because
seriously.
I mean, the other thing is, I mean, fans have seen it all season, and I've seen various graphs from, different MLS analytics pages, kind of those graphs where they put, in terms of chance creation, like how well they're playing and how the results are actually correlating. And the Dynamo are, I think, one of the few teams, if not one of the only teams, that are in the part of the graph of the bottom left, which is, which like says like
bad and unlucky, right? Yeah.
Bad chance creation. And just a bad team overall. We are not playing well. We're not creating chances. Like, it's not even that we're unlucky, dude. We're bad.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not even like last season. Like we finished so bad last season, but I feel like last season you would watch games and be like, dude, we're just not finishing. We're just not scoring. And this season, it's not even that. We have nothing going forward, and that's the thing that bothers me the most about watching that FC Dallas game. FC Dallas is obviously towards the bottom of the table for a reason as well. They can't defend very well. They went through like three center backs. Like Bresson came out, Martinez came out. It's they got kind of a rotating door of center backs right now with injuries. But I mean. We were lucky to score off a penalty and a long shot from Mati. And yeah, you could say there's a couple other chances that, man, maybe we should finish. Griffin Dorsey has been amazing these past couple of games, in my opinion. And it's a shame that he hasn't been scoring, but it's just there's nothing there in the attack. And that's where I think there needs to be some accountability, because we knew what Maxi Urruti was going to bring to the table. And I have nothing wrong with Maxi Urruti. I like the guy. I would actually keep starting him. But first of all, starting the season with Urruti and Ramirez, knowing Urruti's going to be your starter. We ship out Ramirez. We don't even bring in a replacement. But Urruti should not be the out-and-out striker starting for this Dynamo team. If anything, like we've seen him when he was at Dallas and other roles, he was either playing on the wing or playing as a second striker. And right now, you see all the freaking crosses we're whipping in? Why? We have nobody in the box to even finish or pressure. And that's so irritating. Because I don't remember what game it was. I think it was last game. We'll get to it, but Tab only made one sub.
Yep, I guess it was Dallas, yeah.
What was his quote? Like, I didn't see the need to bring in anybody else. Like, pretty much saying everybody else sucks. And he only trusts in the guys in the field, which are barely even doing the job. But I think he brought Urruti into the midfield, or it was during the RSL game. He said he brought Urruti back into the midfield and put somebody else at striker. I don't remember who. I think maybe Lassiter or something. And if you're going to bring Urruti into the freaking midfield, why didn't we sign a backup striker? Why didn't we sign another striker to start? That's accountability, bro. That's on Tab. That's on Tab, and that's on Matt Jordan. Because Tab wanted Maxi Urruti. That was his guy. He said, I'm going to bring him in. And like I said, I like Maxi Urruti. I want him on my team. And maybe not for his salary, but that's apart from the discussion. So that's just that's my rant. I did get mad about that. So
I'm not done yet. Like, I wanted to talk about the offense first, and then the choice of just using one sub in the FC Dallas game. But I wanted to go back to the RSL game, because they only it kind of highlights the issues of the forward of pretty much the attack. And it was pretty much like they recorded 14 shots, and they only managed to get one on target. And they were like, if it wasn't for the goal, they were gonna go 0 shots on target on that game. And it pretty much highlights the issues with offense. And also going to the FC Dallas game, it's been pretty much like you said, crosses in the box, and we managed to get in a couple miraculously somehow, and obviously the penalty. But yeah, it's one of the issues with offense, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean that's the story of the season, dude. And like I didn't want to get on this discussion the whole podcast because we've already had it so many times, and I feel like people are probably freaking tired of hearing it. But I think this is why I'm pretty much 75% Tab needs to leave, because the team has regressed under his tenure, and you can say whether it's the quality or not. Definitely, obviously, losing Manotas and Elise is that's the pillars of our attack that we don't exist this season. But not bringing in any replacement in, and then just the bull crap from Jordan saying like it's not the right time to bring in a player. We'll bring a player when it's the right time. I want to say some expletives right there, bro. But what do you mean it's not the right time to bring in a player? We have nobody to make an impact, and it's just so infuriating because I would have rather had Minor still starting and Boniek at center back next to Parker, and having spent DP money on a striker. Yeah, that's because even with Hadebe, who has done well in my opinion, really tough for him to come into this team. Obviously, the defense is still playing bad. It's just as a unit, it's not good enough. So that's why I think Tab does not deserve to be here after this year, and I'm pretty like solid and head screwed on with that take. Because any other coach, man, that jobs on the line, everything on the line. His contract's going out. His team's on a 14-game losing streak. They're going to make drastic changes, and Tab's just like, oh no. Let's just keep playing how we were going to play, and it's going to work out. Creating no chances. It's a joke.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about two players in particular from the FC Dallas game. Griffin Dorsey, obviously not one of the players I wanted to call out from this game. Like he's been pretty decent on the flank. Like he's very skillful. Like he knows how to like run down the flank and just get to the edge of the box. But like obviously that most of the negatives lie on the fact that he either doesn't have like anyone to send the ball through like on the cross, or he just doesn't know what to do with the ball like when he's inside. So I feel like that's one of the
because he has no one. He has no one to pass to, and
pretty much.
I saw somebody hating on Dorsey on Twitter. I'm not going to say who it was, but I defended him because, man, Dorsey, since he's come, he barely played at Toronto, and he's been starting for us. Absolute madman on the wing. I'd like to see him at fullback if we had a better team, but sheesh, like let's cut this guy some slack. He's working his booty off for us, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad how hard he's trying. Yeah. The goal hasn't come.
And yeah, it's Dorsey, and also let's go ahead and talk about Marco Maric because he did have like a pretty good start of the season, but like at this point he can't start. he can't start. Like you've seen it in the last few games, and it's because of him that the Dynamo conceded goals, and at that point
we've conceded points because of him.
Points and goals. You
gotta say. I mean, obviously, like goalkeepers are always gonna make mistakes. They're always gonna be scrutinized more than other players. Put that aside. We've literally lost a good 6 or 9 points, or maybe less, depending if it would be a tie, from Maric not making basic saves, man. There's a difference between when he's standing on his head every 1 in 10 games, which every goalkeeper is gonna have those kind of games. But like again, this is not anything that is reactionary. It's like. At what point are you going to give another goalkeeper a chance if not after this kind of week? So there's a difference. Like, I'm gonna keep playing. Keep his confidence up. What does it matter? Like, this is the time to give Michael Nelson a chance.
Yeah, Michael Nelson and obviously Kyle Morton did get recalled last week, so I'm expecting at least Kyle Morton to start over Nelson for now, only because Kyle has more minutes as a professional. But obviously, I want to see Nelson at some point. Obviously, it has to like earn those minutes eventually, but as of right now, like at the current point where the team is, like I'd rather see Kyle Morton start only because of experience.
I mean, I'm Michael Nelson biased just because he's a
Oh
he's a
yeah, me too.
Houston boy, and
Me too.
dude,
Yeah.
the 2 or 3 games we've seen him play over the freaking past 5 years he's been with the team or whatever, he's been great. So let's give the guy a shout because I'm sorry, Marco. I'm trying to support you, man, but that's just unexcusable to make those kinds of mistakes in the game as a professional. And you already have the international slot on your back that every Dynamo fan uh, kind of blames you for. I guess. I mean, it's not your fault, but sheesh, you're not helping yourself, buddy. So it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, you guys should see our faces right now on Skype. It's
Yeah.
we're in pain talking about this stuff, and I mean, you highlighted Dorsey. That's definitely been a good signing, but Dorsey's like, man, he's like Andrew Wenger on crack. If you guys remember, that's the kind of player. It's like Andrew Wenger, but with a little bit of spice. He can actually dribble the ball a little bit. No offense to Andrew, but Dorsey, I think, man, on any other good MLS team, that's the kind of player you want on your bench. Well, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but if he's on a Seattle Sounders, LA Galaxy, LAFC, he's getting like applause for coming off the bench and maybe trying to win a starting spot. But the reality at the Dynamo, he slots in straight as a starter when he's barely ever had any MLS experience. I mean, that's kind of sad, but I mean, he's proven himself, and I mean, I just feel bad for all these signings we brought him in. Carrasquilla, dude wants playing time, so I mean that he knew who he was coming into, but he's getting no help there in the midfield, man. And sheesh, it's just something needs to change, bro. Show me a formation change that's not a 5 in the back, please, Tab.
Yeah.
Give me something spicy. Give us something to be excited about because I don't even know what else to go on there.
Yeah, and you already brought this up, but I'm trying to see how I can approach to the fact that Tab only made one sub in the FC Dallas game. Even when we were like 2-1 down, like before hitting to 2-2, like he only makes one sub, and he doesn't even go for the win when we're going like towards our 14 consecutive game without a win. And like just being at the bottom of the table and you're saying that it's okay, like the way the team has been playing, like at that point, that's unacceptable. Like you are last place in the Western Conference. You're tying to your rival at home, and you say that it's been okay that way. Like just making one sub and not going for the win, not even at 2-2, and going for the win, and just letting FC Dallas just ride the tie at home. That's like I don't know how to justify that. Like that's not even, you can't even think like that. Like you're last place and you don't go for the win in a 14 game winless streak. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
How?
It's like I think everybody wants to give Tab the chance, dude. Everybody's like, it's Matt Jordan, it's Matt Jordan. Obviously, we know it's Matt Jordan, but at this point, not. Oh, never mind. Okay, I got it was false alarm. Both me and Andres just got an email from the club saying something happened with Ramos, but I guess breaking news. It just says Ramos is expected to miss this weekend's game to Minnesota due to a medical emergency in his family. So, thoughts out to Tab. Nothing. Obviously, still love the guy. So, all good vibes to him. We just thought it was we thought it was an email saying Tab was fired for a second. So that scared me.
Yeah, we got it at the same time. So yeah. At this point, I hope everything's okay with him. Obviously, this being an emergency, and Omid Namasi is going to be taking charge of the team this weekend against Minnesota United. So we'll see how it goes. I just hope everything's okay with Tab and his family. So
yeah, prayers out to Tab. Hopefully.
Yeah, So that was
Everything's
pretty.
good.
Yeah, that was pretty sudden. So oh well. But yeah, we were talking about Tab Ramos just now, and yeah, I feel like we've already beaten the drum too much.
Yeah,
But
we don't want to. That's the thing, but that's what's going on in Dynamo world right now, man. It's
yeah,
I'm trying to look at these situations from different angles to be an educated take and have a nuanced take on this education. But no, there's nothing educated about this, man. It's football is football, and it's not good enough, man. It hurts me so bad. So let's move on from that. And I want to bring up this topic that I saw just to put into Dynamo fans' minds. I saw it's Bob Bradley's last year on his contract with LAFC. And yeah, we know Bob Bradley's a very well respected coach in U.S. soccer. He's proven himself various times, been all around the world. So the man's been to Egypt to coach. He's been to, I don't know, Sweden, to second division in France. I mean, Houston sounds nice to me compared to that. So let's. I don't think LAFC are going to extend his contract because, unfortunately, their goals have not been fulfilled with Bradley. Although they've been an amazing team, just I think it's one of those moments where it's best for them to part and then bring in somebody else. So Bob Bradley's going to need a new team, and I know some of you said you guys don't love Bob Bradley, but like I said, that guy's a proven coach, proven track record. He's done it. So if I'm Ted Segal, I'm on the phone with Bob Bradley every freaking single day, telling him, dude, I'm gonna give you the reins. I'm gonna come to Houston. I'm gonna give you X amount of money. Do what you can and right this ship, because that we were talking about with Atlanta right now when they fired Heinze. Extra Time Radio and all these other MLS podcasts were saying there's no good MLS experienced coaches in the league right now that are available. Before the season, we saw Greg Vanney, we saw all these guys go around, and I don't know what the stat is, but usually like top 10 teams in MLS, I think like 8 or 9 of them are coached by domestic coaches or coaches that have experience in the league, and the foreign signings kind of always go, don't go too hot. So like our good friend David, good friend of the show, David is saying
the same David. Yeah, the same David from the Twitter Spaces, by the way.
Yeah, so, yeah. He brought up a good point, saying there's a formula to success in MLS, and I love the concept of that. Obviously, it's not black and white; it doesn't work just with the flick of a wrist, with the snap. But the first step is bringing in a domestic coach with experience who knows how to win, and that's the kind of guy I'd give time to. I wouldn't expect Bradley to work wonders immediately, but that's the kind of guy I'd say, all right, let's give him 3 years, let's give him 2 years, give him time, because he was well respected. He's gonna bring in people that want to come play for him with stature. So that's just my point. You guys let me know what you think. Because I think the other choices are bringing in a foreign coach without experience, or calling up an assistant, calling up somebody from USL, and I'd rather go with the safe route. So let us know what y'all think about Bob Bradley. Let's speak it into existence, please.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of movement across the league. So I would say the possibility of Bob Bradley seems pretty far fetched at this point, but it can still happen in some reality. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, we're going to need a GM and possibly a coach. GM first, though. Matt Jordan out. Find Matt Jordan. But yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's going to be interesting how it goes this offseason or whenever Matt Jordan is gone, and if we need another coach eventually. So we'll see how that happens. But yeah,
I'm not really that well versed in the general manager, in the kind of back of office, front office roles. I don't know who's available. I don't know what the next step is for a general manager in this sense. So I can't even give you guys any names on that, because last year we saw Chris Henderson move from Seattle to Inter Miami. Craig Weibel was out of a contract with RSL, and now he's with Seattle. That would have been an interesting name to bring back to the Dynamo. Somebody that knows the club. but didn't have the best track record in RSL. But I mean, when a team like Seattle comes calling, you have to go, and that's what Weigel did. So we'll see what the Dynamo have up their sleeve. If somebody else with a real knowledge of the league can come our way, but that's all up to Ted in his big old wallet.
Yeah. With that, let's go ahead and turn to this weekend's game against Minnesota.
Let's talk about the last point there. What's going on with the supporters group, man? Like I've been hearing things. Obviously, I can't make it to the games because I don't live in Houston, but there's some beef out there, man, and it's ugly.
Oh yeah, we definitely forgot. We skipped that for sure. Like it was just definitely the event we just went through for the FC Dallas game. But yeah, like in the game, we just want to give a shout out to the Search and El Batallón for letting their voices be heard against Matt Jordan. Pretty much displaying it as well. The displeasure for the team. Obviously, El Batallón's being a little bit different because they were pretty much based on their displays. They were pretty much up to represent the jersey over the executives on the club and the players, according to their own display. But
respectful, yeah. That's how it should be.
Yeah, and we also have like the Search, pretty much displaying the displeasure against Matt Jordan, with the Tifa that says #fire Matt Jordan, and yeah, it's been a long time coming. The fans are not happy, as we all know, and of course there's been that issue during the game or afterwards when one of the members of a battalion allegedly assaulted or at least harassed, as far as I heard, one of the or like someone hanging
Dynamo,
out at the
Dynamo Fans for Change group apparently was wearing a bag on their head or something. I don't know. It's murky.
Yeah.
We're not saying this is concrete. This is all through the haystack or whatever they say. Weird sayings they say, but let's hope there's not more fan violence going on between each other. We already have enough bad things going on. So we just urge all fans to come on, never resort to violence. We're all supporting the same team, so we need to come together. You know, if anybody from those groups are listening, we'd love to have y'all's voices be heard at one point in a podcast and in Twitter Spaces. So reach out to us if that's the case. Not over that incident, but just on the team in general. Let's keep the ball rolling in that sense. But I mean, not much else to say there. Let's hope. There's already enough bad things going on in the field. Let's keep it PG in the stands as well between us.
Oh yeah, and that doesn't pretty much tell like every single member of El Batallón. I'm just saying like a specific person or persons. But yeah, we shouldn't resort to violence for anything whatsoever. And over paperbacks is just pretty stupid, honestly. You shouldn't like approach someone over something so stupid, and obviously not resort to violence immediately.
Yeah, let's not gatekeep on Dynamo fandom. It's not like there's a line of people waiting to come in and be Dynamo fans anyways. But we don't want to turn people off from this team any more than it already is. So, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but let's keep encouraging, a culture of inclusivity, and actually, put actions to those words that are, we always hear in corporate jargon as well. So let's move forward from there. Talk about what's going on with this weekend with Minnesota. There's some good news for us, but at the same time, I don't like it. Minnesota is reportedly coming into this game with Houston only going to be available to field 13 players. Field players and 2 goalkeepers, apparently.
Yeah, it's apparently. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Obviously, we have that with Minnesota United coming to Houston, and also with the current news that Omid Namasi is gonna be taking charge of the team with Tab Ramos gone to attend to a family emergency, and it's good. It's an interesting situation. Obviously, Minnesota is gonna come in without not having that many choices to play around the starting 11, and especially with substitutions. And and obviously we have Omid Namazzi coming in with potentially a different game plan compared to what Matt Jordan wants to field. And obviously with the 14-game winless streak in mind, this is an interesting opportunity for Omid Namazzi. And if they manage to get the win or not, because it's on paper, you look at Minnesota United and they look they're pretty strong, but at the same time with the current situation that they have in mind, it seems like the Dynamo can take advantage of this, but it's still.
That's the bad part that I was talking about. I don't like that. There's only 13. They only are allegedly going to field 13 players, according to Bruce McGuire, who's I believe he's a Minnesota reporter / fan. I don't like that narrative already. Like Minnesota, not going to have they're going to have so many injuries, such few subs, and then they're probably still going to come in and steal 3 points or a point and in pain. That's just all I think about it. I
like to say it. I want to keep saying it, but we've seen this anime before, and we know how it ends. So, yeah. It's gonna be.
I wanted to ask you something, Andres. Have you been? Just be transparent here. Have you listened to any of Glenn Davis's podcasts lately? I know he's had a few players on the show. To be honest, I haven't. Just haven't been able to keep up with it as much, and obviously with the state of the team, I'm not really that interested in hearing some of the players talk lately. But did you listen to Fafa Pico at all?
The latest episode, not yet, but I did hear apparently like an issue with Pico not being pretty much calling on the fans.
That's what I read on Twitter too. If you guys listen to that show, let us know. We're going to go back and listen to it this weekend, but definitely not cool if Fafa's calling on the fans for not showing up, because I like Fafa, but I don't want to make any statements if I don't even know what he said for sure. But I just hope he didn't call out the fans in a negative way like that, because if you haven't been here for that long, then you kind of don't know everything that's been going on with this club, with this franchise, and I just hope that wasn't the case. But you guys let us know what he said exactly. I don't want to say anything out of line, but it's just, I feel like we finally got leaders this year in the locker room. We got Tim Parker to be a captain, and I'm just not seeing the leadership yet. Like Zarek is the true captain of this team, in my opinion. For the way he speaks about the team, he's kind of he takes accountability. He talks like a captain. So I just want somebody to stand up and address more points to the fans. And we don't want them to hate their lives or anything either, but we want to hear things from the players, from the coaches, having accountability about this season.
Oh yeah, for sure. And obviously Fafa is a very passionate guy. We see it on the field, and like he makes pretty meaningful remarks like during press conferences or interviews. But yeah, I didn't see that episode completely either, so I can't say much really. I do tune in like now and then to Glenn Davis's Soccer Matters now and then, but not this case. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the locker room. Obviously, we have the issues. Well, pretty much the main issue was just like the comment that Tim Parker said a while ago with the sense of urgency that we probably already know, and obviously Zarek being a pretty humble guy. But yeah,
we need Jorge Clara to come in with one of his interviews again. He was doing it at the beginning of the season, but man, we need somebody to go in and talk to Quintero again. I would love to hear Memo talk, man. He's been on a terrible run of form, if we're just being honest, and he's been on the bench so many games in a row. Like, I would love to hear his take on what's going on with the team, and some brutal honesty. So brutal honesty. Sorry, I don't know if I said that correctly. But let's move on. Finish up with the Dynamo Loan Army.
Army.
It's growing. Yes, it's growing. It's growing, and it's getting shorter at the same time, because Kyle Morton, our presumably third string goalkeeper, was on loan to Memphis in the USL. He had actually won like Player of the Week and all this stuff a couple times. Yeah. He's crazy good in the USL. And for some reason, the Dynamo recalled him last Thursday before the FC Dallas game. Well, it's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with that. Obviously, he did. Nelson was on the bench for the FC Dallas game as the second string, so kind of weird that Morton was recalled if he was doing so well for Memphis and getting playing time. So pending on that, and then I just wanted to mention Eric McHugh. Well, he played full 90 minutes in Charleston's loss to Hartford last week, according to Andres, his 8th appearance of the year. And I just think, we had Eric on, friend of the show, and
Yeah.
It's from what I've seen, he's either starting for Charleston, or he's not even in the 18. So I don't know if there's weird injury issues that are popping up every week, or if this coach is just either I want you starting or I want you not even on the bench. So if Eric, if you're listening to this, let us know what's going on. We want to see you get more playing time, but every time you play full 90, I mean, you're doing well, man. So I think he deserves to be on the pitch. And who else we got to cover here, Andres?
Yeah, this guy named Marcelo Palomino. I don't know if you heard about him. Yeah, it's he scored his 5th goal against Colorado Springs Streetbacks this past week in Charlotte's 3-3 draw, and he's getting a lot of minutes. He's being very good with the Independence. Like I love to watch his games. Honestly, like he keeps starting. It is like 17 starts. Like he made 18th appearances, and he from those 18, like he started like 17 of those. So very promising. He swing like from there also like polar opposite. I would say Jose Bizama, kind of non-existent. Yeah. With like they play. It's interesting though because Palomino and Bizama play for the same team, and obviously they're in different situations. But like Bizama apparently exists, but Palomino exists.
We don't even know what's going on with Bizama because we know he has quality. We know he was part of getting into the Chilean national team at one point a few years ago. The reason he hasn't even appeared for Charlotte on the bench, who knows? I don't think that's quality. I would say he's going through a tough time in his career, and maybe he just needed some speed to get up to fitness. But I saw Charlotte tweeted out a picture of training for their next game, and Bizama was in the pictures. So it would be very weird if we don't see him start or on the bench this weekend for Charlotte. And just before we sign off, I wanted to say our good friend, everybody knows him on Twitter, Dynamo Insider. Shout out to him if he's listening. He tweeted in accordance with Tap being out. He's claiming Marco Maric is also going to miss the few games. And somebody said, "What's wrong with Maric?" He said, "Have not been told the reason on why just yet. I was just told Tab and Maric will miss the next few games." So take that with a grain of salt. We'll see if that's actually true. But that'll be interesting if Maric is actually out. That would make sense as to why Kyle Morton came back. So just we'll leave you guys with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I thought it was gonna be a little bit longer, but we managed to compress it a little bit because of the vent and the Dynamo talk, and obviously with what happened to Tab Ramos just now. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We also hope send good thoughts to Tab Ramos.
Tab, yeah. Let's hope everything's okay. At the end of the day, we're all a family at this club, so all the best vibes there. Hopefully, nothing too serious. The actually last thing I want to leave you guys on, if anybody's still listening to this part of the podcast, you're a real one. I was talking to Andres before, and I know most of you guys, support your separate national teams, Salvador, Mexico, whoever. But I know a lot of you guys are U.S. national team fans as well, like me and Andres. I mean, and Vino Tinto over here for Andres.
Yeah.
But no, the U.S. national team is starting a World Cup qualifying next Thursday. If you guys would be interested in, a mini podcast covering the U.S. national team or Twitter Spaces, let us know because I keep up super heavy with all that stuff, and I would love to spit out some thoughts on the U.S. national team. So whether that's through Noodle Time or through some other, just through Twitter Spaces, let us know if you guys are interested in hearing that because I think we have a lot of thoughts on this roster and about what's ahead for this U.S. national team. So let us know, guys. Stay noodle. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by the idea. But yeah, I just want to hear about Pepe for the 50th straight time on my timeline, you know. But yeah, it would be cool to talk about it. But yeah. Let us know what you guys think for now. Yeah, just thank you very much for tuning into this episode. But yeah, y'all stay noodle.
All right, guys, take it easy. Stay noodle.